The movie opens in a city that feels alive, crowded streets, loud markets, people struggling to survive. But hidden inside this chaos is a man whose name already carries fear, respect, and legend. Ip Man 2 begins not with glory, but with struggle. And trust me, what happens next will shock you. After the events of the first movie, Master Donnie Yen returns as Ip Man, a calm, disciplined martial arts master trying to rebuild his life in Hong Kong. He escaped war. He escaped destruction. But survival? That's a completely different battle. Because this city doesn't care who you were. It only cares whether you can survive today. And this is where things get interesting. Ip Man arrives in Hong Kong with almost nothing. No money, no powerful connections, no school, no students, just his wife and children, and the pride of a martial artist who refuses to kneel before anyone. The atmosphere instantly feels different from the first film. The streets are tighter. The tension is heavier. Every alley feels dangerous. Every face looks desperate. Hong Kong in this movie feels less like a home, and more like a battlefield waiting to explode. But then, a tiny moment changes everything. Ip Man quietly watches workers carrying heavy bags near the docks. Their bodies are exhausted. Their faces are broken by poverty. Yet they continue moving like machines. And suddenly you realize, this isn't just a kung fu movie. This is a story about dignity, about survival, about protecting honor in a world that wants to crush it. That's why Ip Man 2 explained in English feels so powerful even today. It's not only about fighting, it's about identity. But before Ip Man can even think about teaching Wing Chun, he faces humiliation. You see, in Hong Kong, martial arts schools are controlled by powerful masters. Nobody can open a school unless they're accepted by the local martial arts association, which means Ip Man has to prove himself. And the way the movie builds this tension is incredible. Instead of loud action immediately, the film slowly traps Ip Man inside a system designed to break outsiders. No students, no money, no respect. Even renting a school becomes difficult because nobody trusts him. But here's the twist. Ip Man never complains. That calm expression on his face, that silence, it's more dangerous than anger. Because deep down, you can feel something building. Something explosive. Soon, a young man enters the empty school. He challenges Ip Man with confidence, arrogance, and speed. The moment feels small at first, until the fight begins. And suddenly the entire energy of the movie changes. The punches are fast. The movements are sharp. Every attack feels real. Unlike exaggerated action films, the combat here feels personal, controlled, almost surgical. Ip Man defeats him effortlessly. Not with rage, not with humiliation, but with discipline. And that scene alone tells us exactly who this man is. A warrior who doesn't fight for ego. He fights because he must. That defeated student later returns, but this time with friends. And slowly, the empty school starts filling up. For the first time, hope appears. But hope in Hong Kong never lasts long. Because the martial arts world here is ruled by one powerful master. Hung Chunum, a man feared across the city. A man who controls every school. A man who does not tolerate disrespect. And when he hears about Ip Man opening a school without permission, everything changes. What starts as a simple dream soon becomes a deadly challenge between traditions, pride, and survival. But nobody, absolutely nobody, is prepared for how brutal this conflict will become. Because this isn't just about martial arts anymore. It's about power. And the next fight will decide whether Ip Man even deserves to stay in Hong Kong. The moment Master Hung hears IP Man's name, the tension in the city changes instantly. Because in Hong Kong's martial arts world, respect is everything. And disrespect? That can get you destroyed. Ip Man 2 slowly pulls us deeper into a world where kung fu schools aren't just places to train. They're territories, kingdoms. Every master protects his reputation like a lion protecting its land. And Ip Man? He just walked into the middle of it. What makes this movie explanation in English so gripping is how realistic the pressure feels. Ip Man isn't trying to become famous. He isn't trying to dominate anyone. He only wants to teach Wing Chun honestly. But the city refuses to let things stay simple. Soon, several martial arts masters storm into Ip Man school. The atmosphere becomes heavy immediately. Nobody smiles. Nobody speaks casually. Every movement feels like a warning. One of them delivers the message clearly. If you want to stay here, you answer to Master Hung. And this is where things get interesting. Instead of fear, Ip Man responds with calm respect. No arrogance. No insults. He simply agrees to meet Hung. But behind those quiet eyes, you can already sense what's coming. Because men like Hung don't test your words. They test your fists. The next sequence feels like pure cinematic tension. Ip Man arrives at a massive marketplace filled with martial artists. Different schools. Different fighting styles. Different egos ready to explode at any second. The camera moves carefully through the crowd, making the audience feel trapped inside this dangerous tradition. And then we finally meet Master Hung. Played by the legendary Sammo Hung, Hung Chun-nam enters the story with enormous presence. He's powerful, loud, intimidating, and completely different from Ip Man. Where Ip Man is calm water, Hung is a storm. But here's the twist. Hung isn't evil. That's what makes the movie so good. He's a man carrying the burden of leadership in a corrupt world. He protects local schools because if he doesn't, stronger forces will crush everyone beneath him. And sadly, those stronger forces already exist. But we'll get to that later. First comes the test. And trust me, this scene is unforgettable. Hung tells Ip Man that if he wants to open a school, he must pass a challenge against the local masters. Not on the ground, on a table. Yes, a tiny wooden table suspended above the floor becomes the battlefield. One wrong step and you fall. One mistake and your reputation dies. The tension here is insane. The fight starts slowly. Controlled movements. Careful balance. But within seconds, chaos erupts. Multiple masters attack Ip Man at once. And suddenly the movie transforms into a breathtaking martial arts spectacle. Tables slide. Chairs break. Bodies fly across the room. But the craziest part? Ip Man never loses control. Every punch feels precise. Every block feels effortless. This is why the Ip Man 2 full story became legendary among martial arts fans. The action isn't just flashy, it tells character. Even while being attacked unfairly, Ip Man refuses unnecessary violence. But then everything changes. During the fight, one of the masters secretly tries to sabotage him. The rules no longer matter. Honor disappears. Now it's survival. And for the first time, we see flashes of true danger in Ip Man's eyes. The speed of Wing Chun becomes terrifying. Punches rain down like machine gun fire. The entire crowd falls silent. Because they realize something shocking. This outsider might actually be stronger than all of them. But just before the conflict turns deadly, Hung stops the fight. The room becomes quiet. And then, after a long pause, Hung accepts Ip Man. That moment feels huge. Not because of victory, but because respect has finally been earned. Yet beneath this temporary peace, another problem is growing rapidly. money. Hong Kong's martial arts schools are forced to pay protection fees to corrupt gangs connected to foreign powers. Hung himself struggles under this pressure. And this is where the movie becomes deeper than expected. The real enemy isn't another kung fu master. It's oppression, colonial power, humiliation. The martial artists are fighting each other while outsiders slowly control everything around them. But nobody sees how dangerous things are becoming until one young student makes a terrible mistake. A mistake that drags Ip Man directly into the brutal underworld of Hong Kong. And once that happens, there's no turning back. At first, everything seems to improve for Ip Man. His school finally has students. People begin respecting Wing Chun. And for a brief moment, it feels like peace might actually be possible. But Hong Kong is not a city that allows peace for long. Because underneath the crowded streets and martial arts traditions, something darker is growing. And this is where Ip Man 2 Explained becomes far more intense than anyone expects. One of IP Man's new students, Wang Liang, is young, hot-headed, and desperate to prove himself. He admires Ip Man deeply, but like many young fighters, he believes strength means fearlessness. That belief is about to destroy him. The movie slowly builds tension around the dock workers, rough men controlled by gangs and corrupt bosses. These workers fight every day just to survive. Hunger, humiliation, violence, it's normal life for them. And hidden inside this world is a dangerous criminal network connected to foreign authorities. But here's the twist. The gangsters don't fear the police. They fear martial artists. Because kung fu schools still carry influence among the people. That's why the gangs constantly pressure the masters for money and obedience. Especially Master Hung. You can see the stress crushing him little by little. He acts strong in public, but privately he's trapped. Every payment he makes to the gangsters feels like another piece of his dignity being stolen. And then Wang Liang makes the worst decision possible. Trying to prove his courage, he secretly accepts a challenge at the docks. The moment Ip Man discovers this, you immediately feel danger. Because the docks are not a tournament arena. They're a trap. And trust me, what happens next will shock you. The Dockyard sequence is one of the most brutal parts of the entire Ip Man 2 full movie breakdown. Rain pours from the sky. Workers surround the area. Gangsters wait like predators. And Wang Liang realizes too late that this was never about honor. It was about punishment. Suddenly dozens of fighters attack him at once. No rules. No mercy. The movie's tone becomes darker instantly. Every punch feels painful. Every kick feels desperate. Wang Liang fights bravely, but the numbers are overwhelming. A familiar silhouette appears. Ip Man. The moment he steps forward, the entire atmosphere changes. Even the gangsters hesitate, because deep down, everyone knows one thing. When Ip Man fights seriously, people get hurt. And this is where things get interesting. Unlike earlier fights, Ip Man now moves with urgency. There's no calm demonstration. No patience. These men are trying to destroy his student. So Wing Chun becomes terrifying. Fast punches explode like thunder. Enemies crash into walls. The choreography feels less like dancing and more like survival. One by one, fighters fall around him. But the most powerful part isn't the action. It's the emotion. You can see why Ip Man fights. Not for pride. Not for fame. But to protect people who cannot protect themselves. That's what separates him from everyone else. And honestly, this is why the Ip Man 2 review still praises the movie years later. Beneath all the incredible martial arts, there's heart. But then everything changes again. Just when Ip Man thinks the fight is over, the true boss arrives. A brutal gangster named Twister's local enforcer appears with more men. turning the entire dockyard into chaos. Weapons come out. Workers panic. And for the first time in the movie, death feels very close. Ip Man protects Wang Liang while fighting through waves of attackers. The scene becomes almost exhausting to watch because the danger never stops. But eventually, they escape. Barely. And afterward, Wang Liang finally understands something important. Strength without wisdom leads to destruction. It's one of the film's biggest themes. Discipline matters more than aggression. But outside the school, the situation keeps getting worse. The British authorities controlling parts of Hong Kong continue humiliating Chinese martial artists publicly. Foreign boxing events are gaining popularity while traditional kung fu is treated like entertainment for poor people. This silent disrespect burns inside Master Hung, inside Ip Man, inside everyone. And then a British boxing champion arrives in Hong Kong. A massive fighter named Twister. Arrogant, violent, cruel. A man who openly insults Chinese martial arts. And nobody yet realizes that his arrival will lead to tragedy. A tragedy that changes Ip Man forever. The arrival of Twister feels less like a sports event, and more like the beginning of a war. From the moment he appears, Ip Man 2 changes tone completely. The movie stops feeling like a local martial arts conflict and starts becoming something much bigger. Something personal. Twister isn't just another fighter. He represents humiliation, power, colonial arrogance. And trust me, the hatred audiences feel toward him is absolutely intentional. The British authorities organize a public boxing exhibition to promote Western boxing across Hong Kong. Posters spread everywhere. Crowds gather out of curiosity. But hidden beneath the entertainment is a cruel message. Chinese martial arts are weak, outdated, inferior. And this is where things get interesting. The British officers treat local kung fu masters like circus performers. They invite them not as equals, but as objects of amusement. Even worse? Many people are too afraid to resist. But Master Hung cannot stay silent. Despite his rough personality, Hung deeply respects Chinese martial arts traditions. Watching foreigners insult kung fu in his own city burns his pride. So he attends the event, along with Ip Man. And the atmosphere immediately becomes tense. The boxing arena feels cold compared to the warm community of the kung fu schools. British officers laugh loudly. Wealthy elites drink casually while Chinese spectators are pushed aside like second-class citizens. Then Twister enters. Played with terrifying intensity, this giant boxer walks into the ring like a predator entering a cage full of prey. Massive muscles, cold eyes, pure arrogance. The movie carefully makes him feel almost unstoppable. And then he speaks. He openly mocks Chinese martial arts in front of everyone, calls kung fu useless, calls Chinese fighters weak. The insults hit hard because they aren't just aimed at individuals. They attack an entire culture. And suddenly the room feels ready to explode. One martial arts master loses control and challenges Twister immediately. The fight begins. And within seconds, disaster. Twister destroys him brutally. Not just defeating him, humiliating him. Punch after punch crashes into the smaller fighter while British officers laugh from the sidelines. The scene is painful to watch. Because for the first time in the movie, traditional kung fu looks powerless against overwhelming physical strength. But here's the twist. Ip Man stays silent. He watches carefully, analyzing every movement, every weakness. And deep down, you can tell he already understands something terrifying. This boxer is not fighting for sport. He's fighting to dominate. Meanwhile, Master Hung can no longer tolerate the disrespect. His pride forces him to step forward. the crowd instantly reacts. Because everyone knows this isn't just another match anymore. This is China's honor stepping into the ring. And trust me, what happens next will shock you. Hung challenges Twister publicly. The British officials laugh at first, clearly believing the outcome is obvious. To them, Kung Fu masters are nothing more than entertainment. But when Hung enters the ring, the mood changes. Unlike earlier fighters, Hung is fearless. The old master stares directly into Twister's eyes with absolute confidence. And for a moment, even Twister seems surprised. The fight begins explosively. Hung attacks with powerful, aggressive movements that shake the arena. His style is completely different from IP Man's calm precision. Every strike feels heavy, emotional, furious. And suddenly, Twister struggles. The audience erupts. For the first time, the British crowd realizes Chinese martial arts are real, dangerously real. This sequence is one of the reasons the Ip Man 2 review remains so iconic among martial arts fans. The choreography isn't only exciting, it carries emotion, politics, and pride. But then everything changes. Twister becomes angry. Not competitive angry, cruel angry. He stops treating the fight like sport and starts attacking with pure violence. Illegal punches, ruthless hits, no restraint. The referee ignores it. The British officials ignore it, because the system itself is corrupt. And that realization hits hard. Hung fights bravely, refusing to back down even while injured. Blood covers his face. His breathing becomes heavy, but he keeps standing, because surrender would mean accepting humiliation, and Master Hung would rather die than bow. The final blow lands. The arena falls silent. Ip Man watches in horror. The crowd freezes. And in that moment, the movie crosses a line from conflict into tragedy. Because this fight will not end with respect. It will end with death. The arena becomes silent. Not the normal silence after a fight. This silence feels heavy, horrifying, unreal. Master Hung collapses to the ground while thousands watch helplessly. And suddenly, Ip Man 2 stops being just a martial arts movie. It becomes a story about pain, about humiliation, about a city watching its dignity being beaten in public. Twister stands over Hung without remorse. The British officials rush to protect their boxer while Chinese spectators stare in disbelief. No fairness, no justice, only power. And trust me, this moment changes everything. Because Master Hung didn't fight for money. He fought for respect. Even after being injured badly, Hung refused to surrender. Every punch he endured was his way of telling the world one thing. Chinese martial arts will never kneel. But the cost was devastating. Soon after the fight, news spreads across Hong Kong. Master Hung is dead. That single moment hits the audience emotionally because Hung was never truly a villain. Yes, he challenged IP Man. Yes, he acted aggressively. But underneath it all, he was protecting tradition in the only way he knew. And now he's gone. The movie slows down here intentionally. No loud music, no flashy action, just grief. Ip Man visits Hung's family, and the emotional weight becomes overwhelming. Hung's wife and children are left behind, carrying the burden of his sacrifice. And this is where things get interesting. Ip Man realizes the fight against Twister is bigger than revenge. It's about dignity for an entire people. The British authorities continue mocking Chinese martial artists publicly, acting as if Hung's death means nothing. To them, it was just entertainment. For Hung, it was humiliation broadcast in front of everyone. That anger spreads through the city like fire. People whisper in tea shops. Students argue in martial arts schools. Workers at the docks talk about revenge. And deep down, everyone asks the same question. Who can stop Twister? The answer feels obvious. Ip Man. But here's the twist. Ip Man does not want revenge. That's what makes his character so powerful. Most action heroes would explode with rage immediately. But Ip Man understands something deeper. Fighting emotionally leads to destruction. Even calm men have limits. Soon, British officials announce another public event. They want Ip Man to fight Twister in an official match. Not out of respect, out of greed. They want spectacle. A Chinese kung fu master against a giant Western boxer. A circus for the crowd. And the worst part? Many officials expect Ip Man to lose badly. But what they don't understand is this. Ip Man is not fighting for fame. He's fighting for every insult his people have suffered, every humiliation, every moment of silence forced upon them. And suddenly the entire movie feels bigger than one man. This is why the Ip Man 2 full story became legendary worldwide. Beneath the action lies a deeply emotional struggle about identity and cultural pride. Meanwhile, tension inside Ip Man's own home begins growing too. His wife worries constantly. She knows how dangerous Twister is. She knows this fight could end exactly like Hung's. And honestly, she's right to be afraid. Because Twister isn't just stronger than previous opponents. He's merciless. The movie cleverly builds suspense by showing Ip Man preparing quietly. No dramatic speeches. No overconfidence. Just discipline. Training, focus. Every movement feels meaningful now. Even his students notice the change. Ip Man's calmness becomes colder, sharper, almost frightening. Because beneath that peaceful face, a storm is building. And this is where the movie explanation in English becomes truly unforgettable. Ip Man finally accepts the challenge. The match is officially announced. The entire city reacts instantly. Some believe Ip Man can restore Chinese honor. Others fear he's walking towards certain death. But nobody, absolutely nobody, is prepared for how brutal this final confrontation will become. Because Twister has no intention of fighting fairly. And once the bell rings, only one man may walk out alive. The entire city waits for the fight. Every street in Hong Kong feels tense. People gather around newspapers, whispering about the upcoming match between Ip Man and Twister. Some are hopeful, others are terrified. But everyone understands one thing. This is no longer just a boxing event. It's a battle for pride. And honestly, the way Ip Man 2 builds suspense here is brilliant. Instead of rushing into action, the movie slows down and lets the pressure grow naturally. Because sometimes, silence is more powerful than violence. Ip Man continues training quietly inside his school. No crowds, no cheering, just discipline. The wooden dummy echoes through the room as he practices the same movements again and again. Precise, controlled, deadly. And this is where things get interesting. The movie starts showing the emotional cost of being a hero. Ip Man's students admire him, but behind their excitement is fear. They saw what happened to Master Hung. They know Twister is not a normal opponent. Even Ip Man's wife can feel danger approaching. One quiet scene between them says more than 1,000 speeches ever could. She looks at him silently, almost begging him not to fight. But she also understands something painful. A man like Ip Man cannot walk away from injustice. That's what makes this movie explanation in English so emotional. The battles are physical, yes, but they're also deeply personal. Meanwhile, Twister trains very differently. The movie contrasts the two fighters brilliantly. Ip Man trains with focus and inner peace. Twister trains with aggression and brutality. Heavy punches slam into punching bags. Sweat pours down his body. British officials hype him like an unstoppable monster. To them, this fight is proof of Western superiority. And trust me, the arrogance becomes hard to watch. One British officer even insults Chinese martial arts publicly again, claiming kung fu fighters are weak performers pretending to be warriors. The crowd listens in anger, but nobody responds, because all eyes are now on Ip Man. The day of the fight arrives, and the atmosphere becomes electric. Thousands gather around the arena. Chinese citizens push through the streets hoping to witness history. Some carry hope in their eyes. Others carry fear. Inside the stadium, British elites sit comfortably above everyone else, treating the entire event like entertainment. But down below, the people watching understand the truth. This fight matters deeply. When Twister enters the arena first, the crowd reacts with mixed emotions. Some boo him, others remain silent. But Twister clearly enjoys the hostility. He feeds on it. The camera makes him look enormous, almost inhuman. And then Ip Man enters. No loud celebration, no arrogance, just calm footsteps. Yet the moment he appears, the atmosphere changes instantly. The audience erupts, not because of fame, because of hope. And honestly, it's one of the most powerful entrances in martial arts cinema. You can feel the emotional weight crushing down on him from every direction. He's not entering as one man anymore. He's carrying an entire city's pride into that ring. But here's the twist. Ip Man himself doesn't care about pride. He cares about respect. That difference matters. The referee explains the rules, but deep down everyone already knows the truth. Rules won't save anyone here. The British officials clearly favor Twister. Even before the fight begins, corruption hangs over the arena like poison. And then the bell rings. The first round begins cautiously. Twister circles aggressively while Ip Man studies him carefully. Unlike previous fighters, Twister's size and reach are overwhelming. One clean punch could end everything instantly, but Ip Man refuses to panic. He moves with patience, precision, timing. The contrast between boxing and Wing Chun becomes fascinating here. Twister relies on raw power. The man relies on speed, angles, and control. For a moment, neither fighter can dominate. The audience holds its breath. And this is where things get interesting. Ip Man suddenly lands several rapid strikes to Twister's body before escaping cleanly. The speed shocks everyone watching. Even Twister looks surprised. For the first time in the movie, the giant boxer realizes this opponent is different. Dangerously different. The crowd explodes with excitement. Hope rises instantly. But that hope doesn't last long, because Twister's face slowly changes. The smile disappears. Now he's angry, really angry. And when a man like Twister loses control, things become terrifying. The moment Twister's expression changes, the entire arena feels it. It's like the air itself gets heavier. The fight in Ip Man 2 is no longer a match. It's becoming a survival test. Twister stops circling. He stops playing. Now he attacks. And this is where things get interesting. The first real punch lands like a hammer. Ip Man is forced backward for the first time. The crowd gasps. The British officials lean forward, suddenly more excited. Because they can feel it. The balance is shifting. Twister unleashes a storm of punches. Fast, heavy, relentless. Each strike carries pure aggression, designed to break bones and confidence together. Ip Man blocks, but even his calm defense starts to struggle under the pressure. For a moment, it looks impossible. This is the size difference everyone feared. This is the power gap Hung warned the world about. And now Ip Man is standing inside it. But here's the twist. Ip Man doesn't fight strength with strength. He adapts. Every time Twister attacks, Ip Man studies the rhythm, the breathing, the timing, the gaps between punches, and slowly, he starts slipping inside the attacks. A punch misses, then another. Then suddenly Ip Man counters with a rapid Wing Chun combination to the center line. The crowd erupts again. Hope returns. But Twister is not finished. He becomes even more violent. The referee struggles to control the match, but the British officials ignore every illegal move. Headbutts, rough grabs, dirty hits. The system is broken, and Ip Man is fighting it alone. This moment shows why the Ip Man 2 full story is more than action. It's about injustice hiding behind rules. Ip Man gets pushed to the ropes. For a second, he looks trapped. The crowd goes silent again. Even his students cannot watch. Twister smiles for the first time. He thinks it's over, but then something changes. Ip Man's eyes sharpen. Not anger, not fear. Focus. Pure focus. And suddenly, Wing Chun explodes. He slips under a punch and delivers a rapid series of strikes to Twister's ribs, chest, and jaw. The speed is unreal. The technique feels almost impossible to follow. Twister stumbles. The crowd goes wild. But here's the problem. Twister doesn't fall. He just gets angrier. And that anger transforms him into something more dangerous than before. Now he stops caring about rules completely. He swings wildly, breaking the rhythm of the match. Every punch becomes unpredictable. Every movement becomes chaos. Man gets hit hard. For the first time, he is visibly hurt. Blood. Silence from the crowd. This is the moment everyone feared. Master Hung died facing this same brutality. And now Ip Man is standing in the exact same storm. The camera slows down. The sound fades. Only breathing remains. Ip Man gets pushed down for a second. The audience freezes. Even Twister steps back, thinking it might be over. But then, Ip Man slowly stands up. And this is where things get interesting. Not angry. Not shaken, just determined. Because now it's no longer about winning. It's about refusing to fall like Hung did. The memory of his fallen rival pushes him forward. The bell rings soon after, ending the round. But nobody feels relief. Because both fighters are changing. Twister is becoming more brutal. Ip Man is becoming more serious. And the next round will decide everything. As Ip Man sits in his corner, breathing heavily, he remembers Hung. Not as an enemy, but as a man who gave everything for dignity. That memory becomes fuel. The second round is coming, and it will not be merciful. The second round begins, and something feels different immediately. The crowd can sense it. Even the referee looks uneasy, because both fighters have crossed a line now. Emotionally and physically, inside Ip Man 2. And once that line is crossed, there is no going back. Twister comes out first. No hesitation. No strategy. Just rage. He storms forward like a machine designed to destroy everything in its path. His punches are no longer controlled boxing techniques. They are wild, desperate swings fueled by ego and humiliation. And this is where things get interesting. Ip Man no longer moves defensively. He meets him. The crowd erupts as Wing Chun clashes directly with Western boxing in its most brutal form yet. Ip Man slips inside Twister's reach, delivering rapid strikes to pressure points, chest, ribs, jaw, breaking rhythm, breaking timing, breaking confidence. For a brief moment, Twister slows down. The arena reacts instantly. Hope explodes again. But Twister is not a normal fighter. He absorbs the damage and comes back harder. A massive hook lands. Ip Man is knocked backward. The crowd gasps. The British officials smile again, because now the balance is unstable. And here's the twist. Twister starts targeting Ip Man differently. Not just attacks, but punishment. He grabs him, throws him, slams him into the ground repeatedly, ignoring all boxing rules. The referee tries to intervene, but the British officials stop him. They want violence. They want a spectacle. They want a broken Chinese master in front of everyone. And slowly, the fight becomes unfair again. Ip Man struggles to breathe. His movements slow slightly. For the first time, doubt appears in his expression. Not fear of dying, but fear of failing Hung. That emotional weight hits harder than any punch. The memory of Master Hung's final stand flashes in his mind. A man who refused to kneel. A man who died for dignity. And suddenly, Ip Man rises again. Something inside him shifts. The calm disappears. Not into rage, but into clarity. And this is where things get interesting. He stops reacting. He starts predicting. Twister throws a punch. Ip Man is already gone. Another punch. Ip Man is inside the movement. Wing Chun becomes invisible. Precise. Relentless. The crowd starts reacting wildly again as Ip Man lands a series of clean, sharp strikes that force Twister backward. The momentum shifts. Completely. Twister looks confused now. For the first time, he cannot read his opponent. And that confusion becomes dangerous. Ip Man increases pressure. Each movement becomes more controlled, more efficient, more devastating. The arena is shaking with noise. Chinese spectators are on their feet. British officials start losing confidence. Because they realize something terrifying. Twister might actually lose. But then, Twister does something unexpected. He breaks the rhythm completely. A desperate, illegal attack lands directly on Ip Man. The blow is heavy. Too heavy. Ip Man falls to one knee. The crowd freezes again. Silence returns. The referee hesitates. Even Twister pauses, waiting. This is the moment where most fighters would stop. Where most stories would end. But Ip Man doesn't look up with defeat. He looks up with something else. Resolve. Because this fight is no longer about technique, or strength, or rules. It's about spirit. And that spirit is still standing. Barely, but still standing. The bell rings to end the round. Both fighters return to their corners, exhausted, injured, breathing like they've survived a war. But everyone knows the truth now. The final round will decide everything. And neither man is holding back anymore. The arena is no longer loud. It feels like the entire world is holding its breath. This is it. The final round in Ip Man 2. No more testing. No more strategy. Only survival. Ip Man stands up slowly in his corner. His body is bruised. His breathing is heavy. But his eyes are completely calm again. Not fear. Not anger. Something deeper. Acceptance. And this is where things get interesting. Twister rises too. But he looks different now. The confidence is gone. The arrogance has cracked. What remains is a man who refuses to believe he can lose, even though deep down, he already feels it happening. The bell rings, and the final round begins. Twister charges immediately. Full force. No hesitation. A brutal storm of punches aimed at ending everything in seconds. The crowd screams as the fight reaches its most dangerous level. Ip Man blocks, slips, counters. The speed of Wing Chun becomes almost invisible now, like water flowing through attacks instead of resisting them. But Twister adapts too. He becomes unpredictable again. Wild swings, desperate hooks, power shots thrown without form. One punch lands. Ip Man stumbles. The crowd gasps. Even his students look terrified, because this time it feels final. But here's the twist. Ip Man doesn't retreat. He steps forward, directly into danger, and suddenly the entire tone changes. He starts targeting Twister's balance instead of strength. Small strikes, precise angles, disrupting posture, disrupting breathing, disrupting control. Twister starts losing stability, just slightly, but enough. And that slightly becomes everything. The crowd slowly realizes what's happening. Ip Man is dismantling him, not with power, but with intelligence. Twister swings again, misses. Ip Man counters instantly, a rapid combination to the center line that forces Twister backward for the first time in the round. The arena erupts. Hope returns. But Twister is dangerous when cornered. He panics, and panic turns into aggression. He lunges forward with a massive, reckless attack meant to crush Ip Man completely. But Ip Man sees it coming. Everything slows down. This is the moment, the final decision. Ip Man shifts inside the attack and delivers a final Wing Chun sequence, fast, precise, unstoppable, breaking Twister's rhythm completely. Twister freezes. His body finally gives in. He stumbles backward and falls. Silence, then chaos. The arena explodes with noise. Chinese spectators scream in relief and joy. British officials stand in disbelief. Twister tries to rise, but he cannot. The fight is over. Ip Man wins. But it doesn't feel like victory in a traditional sense. There is no celebration in his eyes, only exhaustion and respect, because this was never about destroying an opponent. It was about proving something far bigger than both of them. That dignity cannot be erased, and Wing Chun cannot be humiliated. And this is why the full movie breakdown of Ip Man 2 still resonates so strongly with audiences today. Because the final fight is not just physical. It's emotional, historical, human. But the story isn't over yet, because what comes after victory is just as important as the fight itself. The arena is still shaking with noise, but Ip Man stands quietly in the center. No celebration, no shouting, just silence inside his own mind. Because victory doesn't feel like victory anymore. It feels like weight. And this is where Ip Man 2 shifts into something deeper than fighting. Twister is taken away, defeated and broken. The British officials are forced to accept what just happened, even if their pride refuses to believe it. For the first time in the movie, the system loses. But Ip Man doesn't look at them. He looks at the empty space where Master Hung once stood. That loss still echoes louder than any cheering crowd. And this is where things get interesting. The city doesn't just see Ip Man as a fighter anymore. They see him as something larger, a symbol. Students rush toward him. People bow slightly as he walks out. Respect follows him silently through the streets. But inside Ip Man, there is no pride, only reflection. Because every victory came with a cost. Master Hung's death, the suffering at the docks, the humiliation in the boxing ring. All of it sits inside him now. Heavy, unspoken. The movie slows down here intentionally, letting the emotional impact settle. Even his students feel it. They celebrate, but Ip Man remains distant. He understands something others don't yet realize. Winning a fight does not fix a broken world. Meanwhile, Hong Kong begins to shift emotionally. People start talking differently about Kung Fu again. Not as performance, not as tradition, but as something alive, something real, something powerful. And that shift matters. Because Twister's defeat is not just personal, it's symbolic. But here's the twist. The British officials quietly begin to retreat from public arrogance. They cannot openly admit defeat, but the balance of respect has changed. For now, Ip Man returns home that night. The streets are quiet, almost peaceful, but his mind is not. His wife waits for him, worried as always. When she sees him, she doesn't ask about the fight. She just looks at him. And in that silence, everything is understood. He survived, but he is not the same man anymore. And neither is the world around him. The movie uses this moment beautifully. No dialogue needed, just emotion. Because the real question now is not, did he win? What did it cost him? And the answer is not simple. Because every fight in Ip Man 2 was shaping something bigger than just a victory. It was shaping a legacy. A story that would be remembered long after the pain faded. But even after Twister's defeat, the story quietly reminds us of something important. Peace never lasts long in a world built on power struggles. And Ip Man knows this better than anyone. As he sits alone, thinking in silence, the camera slowly pulls away. Not ending his story, but preparing for what comes next. Because legends are not born from one victory. They are built from everything that follows. And the next part reveals what this journey truly means. After the victory, everyone sees Ip Man differently. To the crowd, he is a hero. To students, he is a master. To the city, he is a symbol. But inside himself, he is still just a man carrying too much memory. And this is where Ip Man 2 becomes less about fighting and more about meaning. Because the real question slowly rises. What does it cost to stay honorable in a dishonorable world? Ip Man doesn't chase fame after the fight. He doesn't build arrogance around his victory. Instead, he returns to his simple life, teaching, guiding, and correcting his students. But something has changed in him permanently. He is quieter now, not weaker, just deeper. And this is where things get interesting. The movie starts revealing its hidden theme. The strongest fighters are not the ones who win battles. They are the ones who carry pain without letting it turn into cruelty. Master Hung's death still lingers in the story like a shadow. Even though Ip Man defeated Twister, he never celebrates Hung's absence. Instead, he respects it, because Hung taught him something important without words. Sometimes resistance is not about winning. It's about refusing to kneel. And that lesson stays with Ip Man forever. We also begin to understand something deeper about Wing Chun itself. It is not just a fighting style. It is discipline, control, efficiency, a philosophy of protecting life rather than destroying it. That's why Ip Man never fights for ego. Even in victory, he remains restrained. But the world around him is not so balanced. Corruption still exists. Foreign influence still lingers. And inequality still breathes through the streets of Hong Kong. Which means peace is temporary. Always temporary. One powerful moment shows Ip Man walking through the city alone. No students. No noise. Just footsteps. The camera lingers on him like a myth walking through reality. And this is where the movie explanation in English becomes more emotional than action-based. Because you realize something important. Ip Man never wanted to be a hero. He just refused to accept injustice. And that refusal made him one. But here's the twist. The more respected he becomes, the heavier his responsibility grows. People now look to him for guidance, for strength, for answers. And Ip Man understands the burden clearly. A master is not defined by how many fights he wins, but by how many people he can protect without losing himself. This idea becomes the emotional core of the story. Because after everything he has seen, Ip Man is still gentle, still humble, still human. Even after facing Twister, even after witnessing Hung's sacrifice, He does not become a monster. He becomes more grounded, and that is rare. The final scenes of this section quietly reinforce his philosophy. He continues teaching Wing Chun, correcting students, encouraging discipline over aggression, and slowly, his school becomes more than a training ground. It becomes a place of identity, a place of pride, a place where people learn not just how to fight, but how to live. And yet, a feeling remains, a quiet awareness that the world outside is still unstable, still unpredictable, still dangerous, because stories like this never truly end with peace. They only pause. And somewhere in the distance, the next challenge is already forming. But Ip Man does not look worried, because now he understands something fundamental. True strength is not about never falling. It's about standing up every time you are forced down. And that belief will define everything that comes next. Time passes in Hong Kong, but tension never truly disappears. Even after the fall of Twister, the city still carries invisible scars. And Ip Man too begins to reveal its deeper message, not through fights anymore, but through influence. Ip Man is no longer just a fighter. He has become something far more powerful. A teacher. His school grows slowly. Students come not just to learn techniques, but to learn discipline, respect, and control. And this is where things get interesting, because Ip Man realizes something important. If martial arts are taught without wisdom, they become violence. But if they are guided with discipline, they become protection. That's the philosophy he begins to build. Meanwhile, the memory of Master Hung still echoes through the martial arts community. His sacrifice becomes a turning point. Schools that once competed fiercely begin to reflect more deeply on what it means to carry tradition in a changing world. Even rival masters start showing subtle respect toward Ip Man. Not because he is the strongest, but because he is the most balanced. The movie quietly shifts its focus here. No grand battles, no external enemies, just internal growth. And this is often the most powerful kind of storytelling. Ip Man continues training his students, but now he emphasizes something new. Control over strength, humility over pride, purpose over ego. One simple scene shows him correcting a student's posture. No shouting, no anger, just calm instruction. And in that moment, you understand everything. This is the real fight he chose. Not in arenas, but in shaping minds. And this is why the full movie breakdown of Ip Man 2 resonates beyond action fans. Because it's not just about winning battles. It's about building legacy. But here's the twist. A quiet truth begins to settle into IP Man's life. Peace is never permanent in a world built on conflict. Even as his school grows, outside forces continue to shape Hong Kong. Foreign influence still controls much of society. Economic pressure still weighs heavily on workers. And martial arts, once a symbol of pride, still struggles for recognition. The man understands this clearly, but instead of fighting everything at once, he chooses something simpler. He focuses on what he can change. His students, his community, his teachings, and slowly Wing Chun spreads, not as a weapon of violence, but as a discipline of balance, a way of life. This is the quiet power of Ip Man. He doesn't conquer cities. He shapes people, and that influence spreads further than any fight ever could. In the final emotional moments of this section, we see Ip Man reflecting alone again. Not as a warrior, not as a legend, but as a man who has seen too much pain, yet still chooses not to become bitter. And that choice defines him more than any victory. Because true strength is not in destruction. It is in restraint. And in that silence, the story prepares for its final reflection. the final verdict, the meaning behind everything. By this point, the fights are over, but the message of Ip Man 2 becomes clearer than ever. This is no longer just a martial arts story. It's a philosophy about life. Ip Man is not the same man who arrived in Hong Kong. He has been tested, broken emotionally, challenged physically, and shaped by loss. But instead of becoming cold, he becomes wiser. And this is where things get interesting. The movie finally makes us understand what Wing Chun truly represents in Ip Man's world. It is not aggression. It is not domination. It is control under pressure. In chaos, it is calm. In danger, it is precision. In conflict, it is restraint. Ip Man's greatest lesson is not how to defeat an opponent, but how to end a fight without losing your humanity. That's why even in victory, he never acts superior, because superiority leads to ego, and ego leads to destruction. We also return to the emotional weight of Master Hung's sacrifice. Hung's death is no longer just a tragedy in the story. It becomes a foundation, a reminder that pride without balance can destroy even the strongest men. Ip Man carries that lesson quietly in everything he does, even in how he teaches, even in how he speaks, even in how he stands. And the deeper meaning of the film slowly surfaces. Real strength is invisible. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It simply exists, steady and unshakable. The movie also subtly shows how Ip Man's influence changes the perception of Kung Fu itself. Before him, martial arts were seen as performance, rivalry, or survival. After him, it begins to represent discipline and identity, a way to preserve dignity in a changing world. And that shift is powerful, because it means Ip Man didn't just win fights. He changed how people think about fighting. But here's the final twist in the message. Ip Man himself never sees his life as extraordinary. He never calls himself a hero. He never demands recognition. He simply continues living, teaching, guiding, and improving others. That humility is what defines him more than any victory ever could. And this is why the full movie explanation in English of Ip Man 2 remains so impactful. Because beneath the punches and dramatic fights, it is a story about restraint, about responsibility, about carrying power without letting it consume you. As this final reflection builds, the movie gently reminds us, the greatest battles are not fought in rings. They are fought inside the human spirit. And Ip Man has won that battle, not by destroying others, but by mastering himself. Now, everything leads to the final verdict, to the conclusion of this journey, to the final message of the film. After everything that happened, the fights, the humiliation, the loss, and the final victory, Ip Man 2 doesn't end like a typical action movie. It ends like a memory, a lesson, a legend slowly forming in history. Ip Man stands not as a conqueror, but as a man who survived a storm of injustice without losing his humanity. And that is the real conclusion. This movie isn't just about martial arts. It's about what happens when dignity is tested under pressure, when pride is broken, and when a man must decide whether to become violent or remain disciplined. And Ip Man chooses discipline. Every time. The final message is simple but powerful. True strength is not how hard you can hit. It's how controlled you remain when everything around you is collapsing. And this is why the film still resonates with audiences worldwide. Because everyone understands struggle. Everyone understands pressure. Everyone understands the fight to stay true to yourself in a harsh world. Ip Man's journey shows us that greatness is not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need recognition. It simply exists through action, consistency, and restraint. And even though he defeats Twister, even though he earns respect, even though he becomes a symbol, he never changes who he is at his core. A teacher first, a fighter only when necessary, and a man who refuses to let ego control his path. That is the heart of the story. Now final review. Action. 10 out of 10. Realistic, fast, impactful. Story. 10 out of 10. Emotional and layered. Characters. 10 out of 10. Deeply human, especially Hung and Ip Man. Message. 10 out of 10. Discipline over violence. Rewatch value. Extremely high. Final verdict. Ip Man 2 is not just a martial arts film. It is a story about respect, sacrifice, and the cost of standing tall in a world that constantly pushes you down. And that's what makes it unforgettable. Now I want to hear from you. Did Ip Man truly win because of strength, or because of his discipline? And which fight hit you the hardest in the movie? If you enjoyed this cinematic breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more movie explanations like this. Because the next story might be even more intense.